All right, well, hello. I've seen Christopher Nolan's new film, The Odyssey, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. I saw it very early, actually. It was 3 p.m. on a Thursday, which I don't think I've ever seen anything that early that I remember. But that's fun. I had the opportunity to see it early. So I'll say, overall, I enjoy this movie. I think there are a lot of little nitpicks I have. They don't take away from the fact that this is an exciting and satisfying story that's adapted from so much strong source material. And in regards to the adaptation, really, I think it's kind of a comic book adaptation where they take like the best hits from the original epic poem and they use what they can to make a movie out of that because the original epic poem is very long. It's like 200,000 words. It is very difficult to make a 3 hour movie out of that. And they did, and I think the pacing is very good in this adaptation. So, yeah. So there's a lot of positive aspects to that. I'll start out with this. Um, I think the visuals are very good. Not just in terms of like the shots. I mean, they look good. I don't think they're like the craziest shots ever, but I mean, the picture quality looks really good for sure. But I think the best part when they let the visuals do the storytelling, like with the siren song or the battles in Troy. That I would have. They had a little bit of narration over those, and I would have gotten rid of it personally. But I think it worked out. Those are the best scenes of the movies to me. The siren song in the Battle of Troy. I really like George Lewis. Ludwig Göransson, he's, I guess, Nolan's new guy. He's worked with him since Tenet instead of Hans Zimmer. I don't think I like him as much as Hans Zimmer, but I mean, his Oppenheimer score was very good. His score here is also pretty good. So I gotta like that. So yeah, the pacing's very good. It definitely it me seemed to be 3 hours. I said it's an exciting story that it's taken from. Some of the performances are good. We'll get into that, and the visual storytelling and the score were good. Those are the what I like most about it. I think Robert Pattinson is pretty good. Not some of his lines were delivered a little awkwardly, but he's trying to be the unlikable guy. He's the main suitor, Antinius or whatever his name is, something like that. And it was a good performance as that. Matt Damon, I don't think he's amazing. He just kind of just play Matt Damon again, dressed as Odysseus, but I think it works out. He had, especially towards the end, his line delivery was pretty good. It was dramatic. That's what an actor does. But we got to get into some of the other performances. These are the things I'd be talking about, and they are easily fixed. They could have played just better actors. Tom Holland is not good in this movie at all. Um, he just sucks. He just has bad line delivery. He's like whiny, but not in a way that you would make it understand. It just like sounds fake whine. It's just bad. It's just like I don't know if this is true, but a kid told me that when I was in my school, he was discussing with me. He said that Tom Holland is going to retire when he has a kid with Zendaya, and it's like, can we hurry up on that a little, you guys? You know, I like Tom Holland as Spider Man. I don't think I've liked him in anything else. And Zendaya is also in this movie as Athena. She doesn't have like any scenes, so I don't really care. I mean, she was okay. Something else. There was I can't remember who. I think it was Lupita Nyong'o, but one of the cast members of this was talking about like, there's no women in the Odyssey. You guys cut the women out. Athena is like in the book a lot. You guys did that. But we'll get to the other things. I guess I may able to talk about some of the other pre-release drama that was coming out a little later. But other things I don't like about it. The first like 15, 20 minutes of this movie are whack. It's terrible. It starts with like Travis Scott narrating the Iliad, or very the prequel. Very like he's narrating the Trojan War. He's very quickly summing up. But Travis Scott's in two scenes. He's horrible. That was not the way to start the movie. It was it's terrible. Should not have been there. I don't want to see Travis Scott in any movies. I think the rappers in movies last year it worked out. Rocky was good in How If I Had Legs I'd Kick You. Tyler was very good in Marty Supreme, but Travis Scott did not belong in the story. And there's another just aspect that I thought disappointed me. It wasn't a problem, but as a whole, like the last 30 minutes are the best part of the film. They're very exciting. You to see his plan. Odysseus comes. It got all the big moments. And there's a fight scene at the end that had the potential to be really good, but he ruined it. Or the cinematographer Nolan, I don't know who made the decision, but it is ruined with shaky cam. And I mean, it doesn't entirely ruin it, but it makes it lamer than it should have been. I don't think shaky cam belongs in like any scenes. I don't think it needs to be there. It is a trick to seem cooler to something. I don't like shaky cam. I think it's stupid. And that leads to another thing as a whole that I'm going to question a little bit here. Uh, I think Nolan did not impress me as a director at all in this. I've said before, he's never really been a great director to me. He makes great movies. I mean, for the most part, I think he's a little hit or miss. But I think he has a lot of great movies. But he never impresses me with camera movement or anything like unique visual segments all the way. I think actually Oppenheimer, I'm not the biggest fan of Oppenheimer. I think I'm going to make a Nolan ranking soon. You'll see it is not as high as a lot of people would put it. But if you look at the Trinity test scene or the scene where he's like talking to the media after the bombs get dropped, those are like unique visual segments that are just not really present in this film. It's all shot, kind of standardly. There's the wide shots. Okay, so let me clarify what I said there. I didn't mean like using wide angle or close-up shots are bad. I mean, I think there's a little bit of like kind of too many close-ups in the movie. It was shot in a way that it did not impress. Like none of the shots were new. It felt shot very standardly is what I was trying to say. Not that using wide angle shots or close-up shots is bad. Present in this film, it's all shot, kind of standardly. There's the wide shots. There's a close shot. It doesn't really surprise me in any way with the directing, and I have to question the director a little bit too. I don't think Tom Holland and Anne Hathaway were great actors, but they're generally better than they were in this film. So I'm gonna have to question that a little bit. Why the acting performance is worse than normal. Talk about the directors. There's some unintentionally funny moments in the drama. We're gonna get into some spoilers here. I guess I already got into a little bit, but I think most people know the general plot of what happens in the Odyssey. But the drama that a lot of people were mad about were some of the race swaps for the characters. Personally, I've never cared about that, like at all. The big one was Lupita Nyong'o as a Greek woman. I think she's Kenyan, or I think she's British Kenyan. But she was in like 4 scenes, so I don't really care that she played Helen of Troy. Would I prefer if it was Margot Robbie? I guess, but it makes no impact on the story. She was fine for the 4 scenes she was in. I would say there's an unintentionally funny moment with some of the things where, Odysseus' crew is going around and they're like, we're Greeks. The cast is like a third of them are not even European, and like all the European ones, they all look to be British or, more Northern European. They're like too white to look like Greeks. They look like me. I don't look like a Greek really. So it works, I don't think it really breaks immersion, but it's a little funny. What is worse is that this casting decision, I'm going to try to not be super mean about this, but Elliot Page plays a soldier. This is where I get into the spoiler parts. And there's a scene where Odysseus is talking about that character. He's like, that was the bravest man I ever knew. Or something like he said it, and I don't think he said it was like that, but he's like, that was a brave soldier or something. He said it was like high praise for the character. It was like Sinan, I think was the character's name. And then you get Elliot Page talking as that character. It just does not work. Like, they do not sound like a tough, brave soldier. That character, Elliot Page, sounded very effeminate in that scene. Or, like, a weird blend of the two. Like, it did not work as that. It was not the right casting choice for Elliot Page, I'll say. But, overall, I've nitpicked it a lot. I think this is an enjoyable movie that I would definitely recommend to the average person. I look at things, I wouldn't call myself a critic, but I do look at things critically. I do look for, like, new things I haven't seen before in movies, which I don't think this has really much of that. But if I saw this with the mindset I had 3 or 4 years ago, if I saw this with the way I thought in 2022, I would have loved this movie. I think the average person, which not a lot of, I think my channel doesn't have very many viewers, but I think most of the people of my few viewers are probably a little more. They're not really going for the same type of movies I necessarily go to. I would absolutely recommend it to this. I think this is, the average person would love this movie. It's technically competent in a lot of ways. It doesn't necessarily do it in the ways I want to, but yeah, I think the average person would really enjoy this. I would recommend it, to the average person. I think they should see it. I think it's exciting. I think many of the people who watch my channel will enjoy this movie, and I did too. I would, for the score, we're giving it an 8 for now. I think it was an exciting story that worked in a lot of the scenes. There were a lot of little nitpicks I have, but there are only little nitpicks, and I think there's some wasted potential here. I think with a different director, and no other director would have been able to get the budget here, so it probably wouldn't have worked out. But if another director was able to get the budget, I think it could have worked out in a lot of ways. Has more personality. But I guess I don't know who else I would rather do this than Nolan necessarily in the modern world. I mean, my favorite director, who is more modern, is Park Chan-wook, but I don't think this is not his movie. He could not make this. But I'll say, I don't know how my thoughts will age with this. You know, seeing it out of the theater, and like if I see this again, I could see this getting a little better. I could also see it getting much worse. You know, I think I will give it like a moderate or light 8. That's gonna be my score for this. I could see this going down to like a 6.5 out of the theater. And I think about it a little more, it might not be as exciting. But yeah, overall, I think this is a pretty good film. I would put it probably in the upper half of Nolan's catalog. I'm a guy who doesn't like all his movies, I only like some of them. But overall, I recommend it, especially to the average person. I think we'll enjoy this a lot. Just for a really closing thought here, if somehow any Hollywood casting director sees this, please, more Robert Pattinson, no more Tom Holland and Zendaya. That's really what I'm going to get into here. But yeah, that's it for this video. See this movie if you have any interest in it. I would definitely recommend it. Goodbye.